everybody, it's Emma and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about 32 ways that you can save money by living zero waste. So the first area that we're going to talk about is food and food waste. So the first tip I have is meal planning. And I don't mean like meal prepping, like cooking all your meals at the beginning of the week so they're ready to go. What I mean rather is you plan your meals as in you plan the ingredients that you need for the week. So you're not just going to the store blind, you're actually going in with a game plan. So you buy exactly what you need, you don't buy more, you don't buy less. This can save a lot of money because you won't be throwing away as much food at the end of the week or the end of the month or whatever. Number 2 is to cook at home versus going out. The average American eats out 4 to 5 times a week, which is 18 or more times a month. And if you just cut that number in half, just think of the amount of money that you can save, especially if the average meal is anywhere from $10 to $20. So let's just assume that the average meal costs $10 and you reduce the amount of times that you eat out 10 times. That's saving $100 every month. Cooking at home can be a lot cheaper because when you're cooking at home, you're not paying for labor and also they have to make a profit. It's also very wasteful because oftentimes food in restaurants comes in plastic and you can't really see the behind the scenes in the kitchen, as opposed to when you're cooking at home, you can control exactly what you buy and exactly what you're eating. Number 3 is to shop local when possible, of course. And this is because when you buy from local farmers markets and bakeries and other locally sourced items, it's saving a lot of waste emissions wise. Instead of apples being shipped from California, for example, if you buy them from your local orchard, that saves on a lot of emissions, and usually they are a lot fresher, healthier, and probably also grown organically. Number 4 is don't throw away rotten food. A lot of times food that is getting ready to expire or some vegetables that look a little wilted and sad, we just throw them away because they're not good. If it's not perfect, we don't eat it, we just throw it away. But just think of how wasteful that is. That food is still good to eat, there's still a lot of nutrients in it, and just throwing food away wastes a lot of your own money. So instead, you can check out my blog post for a lot of helpful tips on things that you can do with fruits and veggies and other things like that to give them a second life instead of throwing them away right away. On to the next topic, which is coffee and water. So tip number 5 is to use a reusable water bottle and a reusable water filter. We use a water pitcher, we just fill it up in the sink, pop it in the fridge so then it filters and gets cold at the same time, and then you just keep refilling that over and over again. It might sound like a big investment to buy a $20 water bottle and like a $3 pitcher, but in the long run it really does save you a lot of money. So I ran some numbers and you can check out the full breakdown in my blog. Assuming that each family goes through a 24 pack of water bottles every week, the cost of that compared to the cost of a water bottle and a pitcher will save you about $950 every year. Number 6 is to use a reusable coffee filter, whether that's a Keurig pod or a regular coffee filter. You should use that instead. And just like with the reusable water bottle and the water filter, this might sound like a big investment in the beginning, but it really does save you a lot of money and a lot of waste in the long run. Instead of throwing away those little hard to recycle Keurig pods every day, you really only have your bag of coffee as your waste. And tip number 7, better yet, is to use a French press. And I'm pretty new to using a French press, but I absolutely love it. You can use it for coffee and you can use it for loose leaf tea. It's very versatile. You can use it both for hot brewed and for cold brewed. And with a French press, the only waste you have is the bag that your coffee grounds or your loose leaf tea comes in. And of course, this will save you money because you will not have to buy any other accessories that come along with using a Keurig or a regular coffee pot. Tip number 8 is to just make coffee at home. Just like cooking at home, making coffee at home can save you a lot of money. Coffee grounds are super cheap. A cost of a bag of coffee grounds will probably be equal to 2 or 3 drinks at Starbucks. And of course, there will be times when you're in a pinch and you probably need to get coffee on your way to work just because it's quicker, it's easier for you, and that's totally fine as well. But one way that you can still reduce your waste at least is by bringing your own coffee cup. On to the next topic, which is water and electricity, and I'll be making a full video on this topic about how you can conserve water and electricity. So tip number 9 is just some easy water tips in general, like turning off your faucet when you brush your teeth, shave, wash the dishes, whatever. Turning off your faucet and then also fixing leaky sinks can save you a lot of money every year, about $140 to be exact. And tip number 10 is to just turn off the lights whenever you're not using them, and also during the daytime. Using natural light is just a great way to save some money and save a lot of energy. And if you want more lazy tips on how you can save the earth and live sustainably, you can check out my video here. The next topic is repurpose and reuse. So tip number 11 is to repurpose old t-shirts and other old fabric into rags, washcloths, napkins, whatever you need fabric for. Repurpose material that you already have. Instead of buying washcloths specifically to use for cleaning, we just used the ones that had holes in them, we would turn those into our cleaning rags. And of course this saves you money because you won't have to be buying rags specifically to clean, and it also saves a lot of waste. Textile waste specifically, the fashion industry is one of the leading polluters in the entire world, and you can read a blog post, I'll link it down below, more about why the fashion industry is so polluting. Number 12 is to switch to reusable batteries. So far it's saved us a lot of money. Batteries really are expensive and the cost really does add up, especially if you do go through them quite frequently. Changing to reusables is a really good option. And then this will also save you a lot of waste because batteries are very wasteful. They're super hard to recycle, and if they can't be recycled and they're just thrown away, they break down and they are terrible for the environment, the soil, and the water. Number 13, this is a really easy one, and it is to just use the entire piece of paper before throwing it away. So we only use about half of a sheet of paper, half of the front side of a sheet of paper for the grocery list. And I used to just recycle this. I put it right in the recycle bin after one use at the grocery store, and then I realized there's so much left on this pad of paper. Instead of just getting one use out of this piece of paper, I get about 4 or 5 uses before recycling it. And then you won't have to buy paper as often. Tip number 14 is to bring your reusables everywhere with you. You already have your reusable water bottle, utensils, bags, whatever. Make sure you actually bring them with you. So you can keep them in your purse, you can keep them in your book bag, or just straight up keep them in your car. But make sure you always have them when you're going out to restaurants, when you're going out to festivals, when you're traveling. Make sure you have your reusables. If you want to see my complete packing list about how I travel sustainably, you can check out this video here. The next topic is transportation. And transportation is another one of the leading polluters in the entire world. And there are a lot of easy, lazy ways that you can reduce your waste when it comes to transportation. And of course, this will save you a lot of money. So number 15 is to not idle your car. I grew up in Ohio and it was always cold for like 6 months out of the year. But I used to be terrible about idling my car. And now that I realize how wasteful it is, I try not to do it as often. Granted, I do live on a subtropical island, so I really don't have to idle it as much. Actually, you kind of do. Even when it's hot, you want to keep the AC running, of course. If you're waiting to pick somebody up, or if you are waiting to the last minute to go into work, just try your best not to idle your car. You can crack your windows to give yourself some air, but this can save you a lot of money and a lot of waste because while you're running your car, this is gas that is just being burned really for no reason. The car is just sitting there, that's gas being wasted, and of course that's money being wasted. Tip number 16 is to carpool. So say you carpool with 4 additional people. This means that you only have to fill up your car 20% of the time that you normally would. And this will also save you 80% of money. Is that how math works? I don't know. This will save you a lot of money because instead of having to fill up your car, say every week, you only have to fill it up every month, for example. And of course, if this is getting 4 cars off the road, that is saving a lot of emissions as well. Tip 17 is to take public transportation. Now, this does depend on the area that you live in, the length of your commute, and other things like that, but this can end up being cheaper than filling up your gas tank. Public transportation is very cheap in a lot of areas. By taking public transportation, you're getting your car off the road and reducing the amount of emissions there as well. Tip 18 is to ride your bike or walk to work or school if it's possible. If your commute is not very long and the weather is nice, and of course if you already have a bicycle, then this can save you a lot of money. You won't have to be filling up your car nearly as often as you were beforehand. A lot of the time, your time spent on your commute is just sitting in traffic. And of course, that's idling your car, adding to emissions. So riding or walking your bike will save you a lot of money and a lot of emissions, and this is the greenest way you can travel. And tip number 19 is to make sure that your car is well maintained. By making sure that your car is maintained, this makes sure that it is the most fuel efficient as possible, which of course will save you money on fuel and the amount of emissions wasted. This also means that your car will just last longer and you won't have to replace your car or parts of your car nearly as often, which can save you a lot of money. The next category is to go paperless whenever possible. Especially in today's age of technology, we really don't need paper for that much anymore. So tip number 20 is to cancel magazine subscriptions. Magazine subscriptions can get really costly, especially if you're not even reading them and putting them to good use. A lot of times they just stack up somewhere in your house and you have an amount of magazines that you have no idea what to do with. If you cancel your subscriptions and switch to an online-based magazine, this can save you a lot of money every month or every year. All of that paper is no longer being wasted. This also goes for newspapers. If you don't read the newspaper that your city is in your mailbox, just contact your city and see if they can stop delivering to your house. Tip 21 is to get a library card. Library cards are completely free. Libraries are free to use. It can also save you money because instead of going out and buying those books, you can just rent or borrow them for free. Tip 22 is to avoid receipts whenever possible. Now this does not really save you money, but this is a free way that will reduce your waste by a lot. Receipts are made out of paper, but they are coated in this material, probably plastic, that makes the paper non-recyclable. So receipts just get thrown away, and there's nothing we can do about it. So the best thing that you can do is just to avoid them. Tell the cashier no. A lot of stores now will prompt you if you want a receipt or not, and if you still want a receipt, you can opt for a text or an email option instead. Especially with a lot of banks switching to online banking, you don't even have the need a paper receipt anymore because it will instantly go into your online bank account. Speaking of which, tip 23 is to opt for online billing instead. You can contact your phone company, electric, water, whatever it may be, and see if they can send you an email statement versus a paper statement in the mail. Tip 24 is to try to find online textbooks for school. Oftentimes, since the publishing company will not need to be purchasing paper and assembling the books will end up being cheaper. And just as a bonus, if you do need to buy paper in any form, try to find it recycled. And if you can't find it recycled, try to find it sustainably sourced, something like bamboo. The next topic is to shop green. And what this means is to pick a company that believes in sustainability, they believe in ethics and reducing their waste, instead of a big brand company that just cares about making their next $1 million. So tip 26 is to not buy brand new, when possible of course. But buying brand new just contributes to the waste cycle. You can find an item secondhand, that's definitely your best bet. And chances are, since it's secondhand, it's already been used, it's more than likely going to be cheaper than you would find it brand new anyways. And there are a lot of different ways that you can find items secondhand. Tip 27 is to utilize thrift stores. A lot of areas, especially in the US, have big name thrift stores like Goodwill and the Salvation Army. But there are also a lot of smaller, unique little thrift stores throughout your city. You just have to look for them. Buying from thrift stores is significantly cheaper, and you can even donate your items for free, and some stores will even give you a tax break, which will give you more money. But if this doesn't work for you, you can try tip 28, which is to use online thrift stores. If you're in an area that you don't have access to a thrift store, try online thrift shopping. You can check Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Depop, the list goes on. I've got a full breakout in the blog post that you can check out for yourself. And just like regular thrift stores, you can buy and sell on these sites. Tip 29 is to trade. Trading has been around since the creation of man, and trading is just a great way to rehome items that you're not using anymore and give them to someone who will actually use them, and then get new items in return, or new to you. Trading is completely free, and you can do it amongst friends and family and neighbors, or you can even check out sites like Buns, a new trading app to trade with people in your area. Tip 30 is just to reduce your consumption. We are a very consumeristic society, and it is so important to just take a step back and think to yourself, do I really need this item, or do I just want this item? And even then, how badly do you really want it? So there are a few things you can do to try this. You can do a no spend week or a no spend month to just kind of analyze what you really do need in life and what you just want. But you can also, in the notes section of your phone, just make yourself a list of things that you've wanted over the last week or month, and if you consistently think about it, maybe put like a little emoji next to it. But if you never think about it again, you probably shouldn't buy it. This of course will save you a lot of money because you will be buying nearly as many things as you thought you needed, which will also reduce a lot of your waste. Tip 31 is, if you have to buy brand new, pick a good brand. But even though it does take a lot of time and effort, these items almost always are very high quality and will last you for a very long time. And of course, just make sure you take care of the items that you buy, and they will last longer. There are a lot of sustainable brands out there that do cost about the same price as name brand stuff for much better quality, and you can feel good about buying it as well. And of course, this will definitely reduce your waste. So the last topic I have is to just use what you have, and I only have one tip, tip number 32, and that is to just give old items new life. If you already have a book bag, you don't need to buy a new book bag for each outfit. You don't need a pair of shoes for each outfit. So especially with accessories, try to find something neutral so that you can use it in multiple instances instead of just one or two times. And just try to get the most use out of all of your items that you can. Mend items, sell items, donate, trade. Try to do all that before throwing your items away. So now we're going to see how much you could potentially save annually if you were to implement all of these items. Keep in mind that this is all just a rough estimate, and it all depends on factors like where you live, how many people you have in your family, and other things like that. And all of the amounts will be in US dollars. So first is food waste. We waste about 25% of the food that we purchase, and this ends up being about $2,275 annually. If you were to change 10 of your meals a month to eating at home versus eating out at about $10 per meal, this is $100 a month and about $1,200 per year. If you were to save rotten items instead of throwing them away, let's assume that's about half of the 25% of food that we already throw away. That's about $1,100. Next is switching to a reusable water bottle and a water filter. This will save you about $950. Switching from single-use Keurig pods to a reusable one will save you about $75 a year. And if you switch to a French press and do not have to buy coffee filters at all, this will save you an additional $20. Making coffee at home versus getting coffee to go at a local cafe can save you roughly $720. $30. By not overrunning the faucet and fixing leaks, you can save $140. Turning off the lights when you don't need them can save you $2,200. Not buying rags and just using materials you already have at home can save you about $20. Switching to reusable batteries instead of single use is about $250 saved. And by not buying brand new paper and just using paper you already have is about $50. Not idling your car can save you a lot of gas, and it can also save you $395 a year. By carpooling, you reduce the amount of times you fill up your gas tank every month and every year, and this can save you about $1,200. By switching to public transport, riding a bike, or even walking on your commute means that you won't have to fill up your gas tank at all. This can save you roughly $9,600. By canceling your magazine subscriptions, you can save about $30 per magazine company that you are subscribed to. Getting a library card is absolutely free, and you can save money here by not purchasing books. Assuming that each book costs $10 and you buy 10 books a year, that is $100. Switching to ebooks versus paper books, specifically in the case of textbooks, this can save you about $50 per book. And any other tips that I have not mentioned yet, you will either break even or they do not cost you anything. This comes to a grand total of about $21,000 per year. So that's it for all the tips I have. I hope you learned something, and I hope you were inspired by this. If you were inspired, please feel free to share. I just really want to encourage and educate people about sustainability and prove to people that you can do it while being lazy, while saving money, and you don't have to change your whole life. It's actually really easy to live sustainably. So much easier than we originally think. But I just want to encourage people that anyone can live sustainably if they choose to. You just have to put in a little bit of time and a little bit of effort. It will all pay off in the long run. You'll reduce your waste, you'll reduce your emissions, you'll save money, you'll still get to be lazy if you want, and you'll leave a beautiful, clean earth for your children and grandchildren and generations to come. That's it. I hope you liked this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. Don't forget to check out my blog and my Instagram, and let me know what else you want to see. Thanks for watching.